Instagram. Lots of hearts all over me on Instagram. So here I am. Here I am on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram Live. So this is my little ducky music on and everything. So hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you receive this message. If you are here live, thank you. For those who are on Instagram or YouTube, I can see your responses. If you are on my Facebook, I won't see your responses till I go on there later. So, whew, there's so much going on, and there's so much going on in my head. So, thank God for my Kriyas. Thank God for, um, you know, getting into my lower three chakras and my and allowing myself to ground and do all of that. Really cool stuff. It helps me. It helps me to deal with a lot of shit that's going on within my own life. And right now, still waiting on a decision with everything. My Where I worked before, they still haven't sent the ROE in, which is for some who don't know, that's called a record of employment. They haven't sent that in, and will they? Well, of course they'll have to. I don't know when. I've done my part to get it going and called the company and things like that. Not much more I can do. Let the caseworker that is working on my case know that I've called. I've let them know, but nothing has been sent in, or it takes them a while to do things. That's just the way they work. So not much I can do at this time, but it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Um, Starting to put out applications because, of course, there's that sense of panic that goes inside you. That holy fuck, I I have no income, right? And there's only so far any savings will go. Within, especially when you go and get something from the groceries and it's like $100 is like a tiny little pile of stuff. We all know that. So you can't really go and do too much. So all you can do is put one step in front of the other. But it is a frustration. It is a frustration in how I need to step into it and look at it. I got to be practical. So practicality is the key. Not that I'm a very practical girl, but practicality comes in, and it's maddening. And there's so many things that go through your head. I should have, could have, I should have done this, I could have done this, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I listen to my intuition deeper? And people say, well, you're a psychic, you should have known. Well, not all the time. It doesn't work that way, because there's still things in life that you have to learn. And then I'm looking at the astrology, and as I looked into my own astrology, I could see that there are things going on behind the scenes that I was unaware of, and a lot of veils put up that I could not see until the final unveiling. And that's with many things in our life. Sometimes you don't see what's going on until the final unveiling, and when it is, you're just like, holy fuck. You feel like there's something came down from the heavens and pulled your road from underneath you. And in pulling that road from underneath you, it's left you, okay, I got to get up and I got to keep on going, right? I got to keep on trekking, basically, is the motto. But it is where, even within the energies that are coming in, it's beyond measure. We are coming this week into a critical mass, and it's sort of ironic that NATO's meeting and this energy's happening, and it's like you see all of these alignments coming in, and you're just like, holy fuck, it's a lot. It's a lot to endure. And with the last new moon in Cancer that opposes Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn is this, especially with Pluto there since 2018, it was getting us to really look at our own selves and how we are partaking within our own lives, and how we are taking that responsibility within you know situations within our life, within our finances, within our health, all of it. 2008, we had what? Supposedly Obama, which I never liked Obama. Just I'm throwing that out there. I always had a weird feeling about the man. Um, and of course I got a backlash. What? You don't like Obama? Why can't you? Just had a weird feeling. Um, it just was one of those things. It was just a feeling I had with that. And sometimes, feelings that you had. I think it also has to do when I see a lot of people running towards something, I'm the one who wants to run the other fucking way. I don't want to be in that crowd. Well, one, I don't like crowds, but when I see a mass of energy of people and then praising and saying this is the best thing, this is the best thing. Same with what happened in 2020, and seeing what the astrology was bringing in, I'm just like, hold on, there's something more going on than meets the eye. And that's what I'm seeing now. There's something more that's going on that meets the eye. The reason why certain things are coming out right now, it's to awaken you. The sound of freedom. Why? Because it is about our values. It's something that hits us to our core. It's children being raped, being sold, baby parts being, sold, women being chained to be birthing, to just birth children. It's like a puppy mill, but only for human beings. Um, these things are coming out because it shocks you, it awakens you, and it awakes you to a point in saying, this is bullshit. We can handle inflation. We can handle that a box of Tide is $32, but can you handle something of a child being scooped up in the middle of the street, thrown in the back of a car, an 8-year-old raped like 60 some times a day by men? Can you fathom that? When you start to see it, it awakens you. That's where the critical mass is. This is not a topic that people like to talk about. People don't want to talk about this shit. I've told people about, the elixir. I told them about other things. But this is where it's like, oh, this is where you start to see, and I've said it before, this is where you start to see the downfall of our society. When you start seeing drag queens reading to children in libraries, like, okay, what is a drag queen? It means dressed as a girl. Drag, that's what it means. That's what a drag queen is. And we all knew it since this has been going on. That was adult entertainment. Always knew it. We always, this has been going on for centuries. But all of a sudden it's like, oh no, it's okay for this person who is dressed like a woman to read these stories to children. No, it's not. No, it's not. Right? There's got to be a line that's drawn. But people are like, oh no, you don't speak out about that. You don't say anything about that. But we don't speak out. We don't speak out. It becomes our children are being sold. People knew about, the poor natives that were being, with the Catholic Church and everything. And it wasn't just the Catholic Church, it was other churches that were sanctioned to do this as well. But you turn a blind eye. But the energies of where the astrology is now, it's like, no, this is critical mass. This is explosion. This is where we start to pay attention. That means you start paying attention to the kids around you, right? That's part of the responsibility. Once you see something, and this is even what we teach in Reiki, when you see something, you're 100% responsibility. Now, this isn't about you going out on a guilt trip and feeling guilty. That means I may not be able to go onto the front lines and go and rescue children, but I can now be more aware of my surroundings and the children that are around me, that I am going to be able to take better care and take that responsibility and put my foot forward and say, that's not coming into my school. I'm not going to allow my child to see that. All right. In India, till just recently, and it's still sort of a backdoor practice, that young girls, as young as 8 years old, are married off to old men. What is that? That's just disgusting. And when that man dies, she's thought of as nothing, and she's brought to a sanctuary, I guess you'll call it, or like a convent, where all of these women are. Now, I know there's laws in India that they've tried to change this, but it still happens. And these girls are now behind closed walls for the rest of their lives in this place. Are they allowed to work? No. They got to go beg. They got to do other things to find a living, right? They get maybe donations and stuff, and if the family that or the man especially didn't have any money, that wouldn't have gone to her anyways, right? It would have gone to one of the sons or something else. So this is where this eruption, especially with Pluto coming back into Capricorn, coming back, is like starting to say, it's like, what are your responsibilities? What is it that you need to start looking at within your own life and where you need to start taking responsibilities for? That's even within mine. With mine, I start to say, okay, I've always talked about things, disruptions, finances, and all of that. Yeah, it's crazy things. But this is where it's like, where am I going to be stepping into being of service? And does that mean if I have to go back to work, I have to go back to work? That's just it. Have to pay the rent. That's part of where Pluto is, right? This is where it is. It's like saying you got to look at the responsibilities that you have to have in your life, and what are they? What do they look like, and what do they feel like? We're coming into very complex. That's my dog going crazy because I think Mateus just came back from his pancake breakfast. How much, to deal with these complex situations, which is how much we dislike things that are going on in the matrix. But it's the responsibilities you have, and it's not easy. It's not easy. You can't bail out now. You can't just walk away now, right? This is still like we're still in between these worlds where we are still, our soul is evolving, but there's still things that need to be cleaned up here. We are in areas and energies of war. And when that North Node goes into Aries just after the new moon, going up to conjunct Chiron, that's not an easy. That's when you see that in somebody's chart, that's at the bottom. You don't want that. You don't want the North Node conjuncting Chiron, because this is a conjunction that happens every 20 years. So people, I think in 1984, 1983 have it. Having to deal with these changes and transformations. So this is, that we're going to be looking at for the next 18 months, and how and what life to look like. And with this squaring Pluto in Capricorn, this Aries energy is wrapping things up. It's getting things going. It's accelerating. We are no longer in Venus energy. We are no longer in that, oh, Venus, let's look at things, let's get things going. This is Mars energy. Mars coming in, Mars going forward, and Mars is already retrograded at the beginning of the year. He's not going to retrograde for another 2 years. So he's going forward. He's collecting information. He's in Virgo, right? What do we need to start planting? What do we need to start looking at? How can we start taking that responsibility of the service that we need to have within our own life? And when you look at, what is service? Service could be partially going to jobs, working and getting things done. That's also part of your dharma. Dharma isn't just sitting in an ashram and going om all day and feeling all wonderful and beautiful and spiritual. Yeah, that's part of it. But part of the dharma is raising your children. Part of your dharma is taking the garbage out. Part of your dharma is cleaning your fucking house. Even though you don't want to. You look up, oh, there's cobwebs there. I don't want to do that. But that's part of your dharma. It's keeping things going. It's a part of it. That's part of what you need to be doing. And with this energy, and especially as we're wrapping up into this energy, and Chiron wasn't founded until the 70s. And where Chiron lies is in that astral belt between Saturn and the next round. That means between Saturn and Uranus, that's where he roams. That means he is the bridge between us, our personal life, and the subconscious realm, the God realm. He is that bridge between of how we deal with our personal life with God and that energy with God. How do we deal with that? How do we partake within that? And how do we bring that energy into our day to day life? It's not fucking easy. And a lot of you have like dissed religion, dissed a lot of things. Fine, whatever. But the thing is that are you bringing God into everything that you do? That's the question. And when we start doing that, and it's not easy because sometimes I don't want to deal with God on an every level, but once we start dealing with that and we start doing it, our life starts to look differently. We start to really look at things in new ways. We don't just stand on the sidelines because we are not just the directors of our lives. We are the participants within our life, and we have to participate. And how do you participate within your life? How do you do that? And sometimes it's like it doesn't look the way exactly that you want it look like all of the hearts going up on my Instagram one and doing this, it looks wonderful and I look so cute. But it's not always that way, right? Right now it's me waiting on, yeah, I can put up, yes, I am putting applications out. It's also looking at, in doing that, waiting on other things that are happening. So it's sort of like, this waiting interim energy, right? But there's things that have to be done, right? I know my husband, yes, he wants to go back to work. He can't, honestly. Yeah, he can mow the lawn, but after he mows the lawn, he's not in any condition to do much else, right? He is he's not the same person as he was before he had his stroke. And does that hurts me. That's really like, oh, it's like you want him to be, because you want him to be so much, he wants to be more than where he is at this time in his life. And yeah, he gets frustrated and he gets angry, and of course me with my Cancer energy and the Scorpio, and I just want to fix it and make it all beautiful, but I can't. So I have to do what I can do. And with Chiron, there is sacrifice and to gain something, right? And the part is that when we're going from the South Node Scorpio into the South Node Libra, this is where the South Node, could have brought us into forcing something to happen. We wanted something to happen. We wanted this transformation to happen. We forced it. And we can see things in different parts of our life. What did we force to happen? And now we're going to come into South Node Libra, and Libra can bring in Libra's justice. It's the law. And where we can get really going crazy into that. Where we have Aries is like, okay, where do we have to start? Where do we have to begin? This is the beginning, right? And we got to remember that the nodes move opposite to the planets. They move in a clockwise. Planets move in a counterclockwise. So we also have that these nodes serve the sun and the moon. And the sun and the moon are coming together in Cancer on the 17th, and then they're moving. So this is where the feelings you have been repressing. Capricorn's this test with Pluto there testing you on your commitments. South Node is going to bring up some legal, playing around that legal and feeling that you're so justified in something. Are you justified? Right? I'm justified to do this because I know better. So justifying poor actions, taking away who you really are. And things happen without control. So this is still this is about still keep going and doing the things that that are true to you within your actions. We are at those extremes. We are at those this extremeness, and there is this goodness that's going to come in. There is a goodness part that's there, but it's standing within that. And Mercury in Leo, just saying, there's drama. Mercury just loves going. It's just like, what's going on here? What's happening? Oh, wow. What? Oh, you're doing this and you're doing that. Oh my goodness. And so you got all this energy that's coming in, feeling I'm justified. Look at I'm part of this. Look at me. Look at me. I am justified to look like how beautiful I am and how, you know, lovely it is. So we are like it or not. And then we have the dark moon that's going to come in Gemini. And this is the mind, and this is getting into the darkness of it. As the dark moon goes in, we call it the devil's hour. So we have this energy of critical mass. We have this energy of eruption. And this isn't going to be the end of it. This is the beginning of it. We're in this till at least 2025. End of 2025, not the beginning of end of 2025. And we're only in the middle of 2023. We've already gone through a lot. We've already gone through a lot of transformations. We've gone through a lot of tests on, are you going to fall for things or are you going to stand in your truth? Pluto's been testing a lot, and Saturn was there to help with these tests. Let's see. Oh, are they going to go for it? Are they going to fall for it? Are they going to go for this spell? Well, we're coming into another spell. Are you going to fall for those spells? Are you going to fall for all of that that's going to happen? Because half the things the media is covering up, we know that. It's not going to be seen. We're not seeing it. Why is a movie such as The Sound of Freedom doing a lot better? But how much are they wanting to promote the Barbie movie to you? Yeah, the Sound of Freedom's doing really well. But here is the Barbie movie. All of a sudden, you got Barbie Dream Home makeovers these guys are doing on HGTV. Oh, this Barbie scenario over here. Look at this. How wonderful it is. Look over here. Don't look over here because this is really dirty and messy and fucked up, and we don't want you to look over there because maybe you're going to take responsibility and hold people accountable for their dirty, nasty actions. And call people on it and say, no, that's wrong. Like, really, that's wrong. It's degrading. So this is where this energy is coming in. And the South Node, and it's squaring Pluto. We can't stand idolizing people to save the day. We can't think, oh, that person's going to save the day. Justin Trudeau's going to save the day. It's not going to happen. Just say it's not going to happen. There is no one. It's your own guidance. It's your guides. It's within you. It's within you. And that's where it's at. And that's where sometimes it gets so frustrating. Because it's like, no, I want somebody to come in and scoop me up. Get me out of here. But it's not going to happen. And throw you in some other crazy spell. But this is where, with this balance and this looking at where we are balancing, because with that Libra energy that's going to come in, anybody's been with a Libra? Man, I got a Libra in my life right now, and he's going through some hell. He really, really is. But he's learning to take responsibility for that hell to make those changes that he needs to make within his own life. And it's not easy. There's things that are coming up in his life that are fabulous opportunities, but he's fucked it over. And he's got to take that responsibility of what he's fucked over because he doesn't want to make it worse. So there's a justification. And part of that justification is having that, knowing that, hey, you know what? I got to follow my own inner guidance. And we're going to be coming into this from the 17th, and we're going to be in this for the 18 months. And you better believe you're going to feel that shift. You're going to feel this like, holy crap, what just happened? We're out of that personal, loving, caring, let's make things great to what are the actions? Because Aries, if anybody knows any Aries in your life, what action are you going to take? And what is the fucking responsibility are you going to take? And don't give me no line of bullshit. It's fire. And anybody who is Aries, hang on, baby, because you're in for great transformations within your life. You think you've already gone through some? There's some big ones that are coming in for you. And they can be fabulous, wondrous, and great. It's how you are going to partake in them. And these disruptions can be many different forms that are going to come forth. And one, I would say, number one for you all, get your health house in order. Number one, get your health house in order. For all my little Aries out there, look at what you are doing to your health. That's for all of us, but and that's a big one, because where your personal planet is, where your ruler is in Virgo. So health house comes in. Whew, how am I taking responsibility for my health? How am I being of service? How am I getting my things in order? What is my daily routine? Number one. So you got to look where your personal planet is and how that reacts to you. So that's going to be a number one, especially over the next 7 weeks. So this is going to trigger things to get things going. Because if you're not, then you're going to see over the next 18 months what you didn't get in order, you're going to be working on for the next 18 months. And you're going to find that it's going to be like, what the hell? And you're going to try and justify it, and you're going to try and balance it out in some way. So that is going to be a huge one within these shifts. Okay. And attachments. What attachments do we have? That's for everybody. What are the attachments? Because Libra, the identification as something else has to look like. What is, it has to look like something else. Can't look like this. This is bullshit. We can't have it look like this. So there's that responsibility. And plus with Mercury being in, when we have Mercury where Mercury is right now in Leo, it can add a lot of different chatter and just make you think something differently than what it is. Yes, it wants to give you the information, but we also have Venus going retrograde. And Venus going retrograde, this is not a time. Oh, this is not a time to get delusional on things, especially with Venus and Leo. We've never had Venus retrograde fully in Leo in our lifetime, unless you've lived in 1840 and you're still alive today, but you haven't. And with her retrograding in Leo is going to give us some really crazy energy, because she's now descending. If you watch her, she's now descending. And as she gets to the horizon, she's going to be going underneath for 40 days and 40 nights and become the morning star. And she'll become the morning star for another 18 months. So we're going to have this morning star along with everything else. And the morning star, they also call the devil star. Lucifer morning star. Just throwing that out there, baby. So we have this energy that's coming in that is like, it might look great and bright and wonderful and beautiful. But is it? That's something we have to look at within our own personal lives, within our own personal self. And I know for myself, this is where it's like, okay, you know what? I would love to do what I do and be totally of service with my business and do it full 150%. But reality right now, my business can't just do $33 a week. My business has to do five grand at least a month, if not more. And that's just to sustain a living right now. That's for me to pay for things and also to be able to eat and maybe even go out once in a while, which isn't a wrong thing to ask for. But sometimes it feels like, ooh, maybe you're asking a little bit too much. But when you look at it, not really. So that's the things that you got to start looking at within your life too. Because when the extremes start going, I mean, I'm just like, we can go into the Muggle world right now. There's a situation where this person's house is now being taken over by the bank. And it's being sold by the bank. It's gone into foreclosure and it's going to be sold. Now, they had an instance that something happened within the family and that they They had to go help the family member. The family member was sick and stuff like that. And they've owned the house since 1994. Now, the thing is that the house is worth a lot of money. It really is. And they ended up owing the bank $9,900, so $9,900. Now, they could not, because of circumstances and things that were going on, they were unable to get loans or whatever, extend their credit for things. And the bank's been working with them for some time, but they refused to sell. Now, their home is worth just under $1,000,000. And they have, yeah, they have equity and a little bit in there. But the thing is, they could have sold the house. They were told by the bank, why don't you sell the house? You'd pay this off and you would still be sitting with, say, $400,000. It might not have been the best situation, but it would have been better than losing it all. And those are the types of situations that people are going to find themselves in. And they're going to try and justify it, especially with Libra. I'm justified for this. And they're going to feel like they're justified for this. But then they're going to find that they're not justified for it. It's not a justification. There's other ways of getting out or working on this. And sometimes it's not a road that you like. It's not where it's all gooey and slimy, because we have Mars opposing Saturn and going to oppose Uranus and Neptune, and they're fucking retrograde. And this is in Pisces. This is the spiritual center, but the spiritual center still says you have to have responsibility. You have to take the responsibility within your own life. You can't just sit there and think of unicorns and lovely little hearts popping out on me on Instagram. It's not the unicorn fluffy kind of world where you would like it to be. This is coming into a Mars world rule. And it ain't fun. Mars is a malefic. Malefics go with decompensation, things, worms and all this kind of gross stuff. Taking things apart, taking things, all over. And it's not a nice look. People don't like that. They'd rather be with Venus. Venus is great. She's chocolate. She's wine. She's, big fluffy pillows and voluptuous and making things look all nice. That's what she is. That's about, she rules Taurus. She wanted to create a foundation for the last 18 months with the North Node in Taurus, wanted to create a foundation. Now we got Jupiter in there. Jupiter, everybody thinks Jupiter's the guru. Well, Jupiter's not really a guru, because he'll inflate whatever needs to inflate. And what's he doing right now in Taurus is he's inflating everything. And Uranus is there at a point where World War II is. Let's inflate this shit. How are you going to take responsibility for that? How are you going to take that within your own life? And with those nodes changing just after a new moon, whew, that's explosions. That's things that we never even thought. Things that are going to be transferring for us all. And it's not easy, right? It's not easy, because we're still in between this world, and everybody wants to be in the Dolores Cannon world. We're going to be in the Dolores Cannon world, and we're all going to be beautiful. Fuck Dolores Cannon. That's what I say. I mean, I know she's, she had some really great, fabulous things. Thank you. But fuck Dolores Cannon. You still have to live in this fucking world and get things done. You're still part of this matrix, whether you like it or not, because you still got to take the fucking garbage out. You still got to wash the floor. You still got to clean the dog shit up in the backyard. That's part of the life. And we still have to recognize that there's evil crap out there, but I'm not going to open that door to them. I know you're there, but I'm not going to give you my energy. I'm not going to give that to you. I'm going to make sure my children and the children that I know are protected. So I'm going to make sure if my kid's at the playground, I'm watching, because they're everywhere, right? They're everywhere, and you have to pay more attention than you did. When I was a kid, my parents didn't give a fuck where I was. I was at the beach with my girlfriend. One day, we were gone. We left at 8:00 in the morning. We took our bikes. We rode to one beach because I lived in Penticton, played around on the beach. We played all around. We went in the water and everything else. Had a towel. We didn't have any food. We didn't think about food. We're just like, oh, how much money do you have? Oh, we got 25 cents. Let's go buy some candy. Went to the other end to Okanagan Beach and spent the rest of the day at Okanagan Beach and came home for dinner. My mom asked me, how was it? How was your day? Oh, I was great. I was out with Julie all day. Oh, okay. Out on our bikes. Would I, if I today with my grandson, whew, you know, oh, it should be saved. It should be up there. And it'll be on YouTube if I don't get a strike. But that's it. It's the energy's changed. Could the Sound of Freedom come out in 2018 when it was made? No, it couldn't have. The energies would not be able to support it, but it can now because people are at a critical tipping point of saying, whoa, we're not going to. Are they, there's TikTok videos that are coming out about this now. People's tickets are being canceled, air conditioning's going out, the movie gets cut off. Crazy shit like that's happening. In Canada, they had to do they had to actually say, no, we want this in Canada. We want people to see. Why did the government not want it? Because it wasn't Canadian content. It fucking is Canadian content. Because there's some of our children that have been stolen as well. So this is like, I always wondered what happened to Mel Gibson. Like, I like Mel Gibson. I mean, Braveheart, woo! Just saying, you know? But the thing is that I always felt weird that they attacked him. And now looking at a lot of things that he has said and wanted to bring out, of course, of course. We don't want him talking. Ellen DeGeneres' ex-girlfriend. Why did she die? Oh, she was working on some kind of movie to do with children and some kind of things to do with things in Hollywood and what was happening to children. And she's crazy. Do people want to see that? No, they don't want to see that. They don't want to hear that. Not Ellen. Oh, I used to be an Ellen fan. Then my eyes were open. I'm just like, no, this is just too weird. There's something going on here. I used to be an Oprah fan. I'm like, no, some of the things that she would say or do, it just like sort of irked me. And then when she backed Obama, I was just like, there's something going on there that I don't like. And that's what we're seeing, and this is when your eyes start opening up. I can get into the wildfires and all the meteorites that were coming down before the wildfires and that were being reported. You can look into it. And this isn't the first time celestial things have happened and big explosions and fires happen. The fire of Chicago, the Great Fire of Chicago. I mean, there's so many things, but we lose it because we don't see, we don't look into our history. We don't look into these things. It's crazy people like me who look into this shit and just like, holy fuck. And then I find people who are already looked into it and has done a lot of the work. And I'm just like, holy shit. Yeah. It's these things and they're all coming up and Pluto's erupting this. He's erupting this. And as he gets closer to the natal chart of the United States, and you don't think that's going to affect you? Fuck yeah. How tied are we to the States? Our dollar's backed by their dollar. Wake up. What can we do? Okay, I need to prepare. How do I prepare? I've been telling people you have to prepare. You have to diversify. You don't know anything about stocks, bonds, or anything about money? Take a fucking course. Look into it. You don't know how to prep, you don't know how to get things together, take a course. There's so many TikToks out there that you can take, YouTube videos that are out there that you can take. It's there. The information's there. It's like, oh, it's so hard. I don't want to listen to something for 3 hours, but I'll sit there on Netflix and watch 5 fucking shows because I got to see what happens next. Totally oblivious until, Netflix says, "Are you still watching?" and judging you for watching. You know? This is where the energy, this is, everything I've been saying, all of this stuff coming together is coming up. It's starting to erupt. And it's going to be a hard time, especially with Leo and that Venus being in there. If you're planning a wedding with Venus retrograde, I'm going to bless your wedding now, because I know with less than 18 months, you're going to start seeing it fucking fall apart, because there's things that are going to be revealed before that wedding date, because Pluto's going to have look at things and saying, is this truly what you want? Is this where the commitment is going to be? Is this where you are wanting to have that foundation? And with Venus retrograde, she's going to challenge you. She's going to challenge you in that relationship. And I can tell you, she's going to bring up the dirtiest fucking shit and going to start showing you. And if that's what you are wanting to live with, if that is what you are wanting to do, she said, she's going to say, well, hey, honey, we're going to be in this for a little bit. And this is going to be painful. And those are the things you have to look at. It's like, holy shit, do I want to get into that kind of commitment right now? Because Pluto is like, Pluto is the I'm going to say he is the guru on faith, because he's the one, even though he's the outer planet and out there, but he is who he is. I am God of the underworld. That's who I am. I'm God of the underworld. Nope. I'm not gonna falter on that one. You don't like that shit? Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. You want to transform? You got to go through this. You got to do this. That's what he does. And Saturn and Pluto, Saturn and Pluto, they're coming into these squares. I mean, they were conjunct and now they're going to be coming into a square. That means, are you taking responsibility for everything that you were learning when we were together in 2020? Are you taking responsibility for the shit that was unloading as we were being the Mafia brothers? Ooh, maybe not. If not, that means I got to look at where I need to start bringing forth that energy, especially the energy of God, into my life. And how can I take that responsibility of it within my life? What is that dharma? Because it's the 12th house. It's the karmic house. Pisces, 12th house. Karma, dark secrets, illusions, propaganda, media. Look over here. Look over here. Look at this all nice, shiny little circles over here. If that's what you want. And over here, oh, well, there's work to be done. It's Poseidon in the same sign as his dad, who ate him, Kronos. Who do you think's going to win? So because Saturn has been ruling, doing very well for the last 7 years in Capricorn, in Aquarius, doing really, because he rules those things. And now he's in like, holy fuck, I'm in a place that I hate. There's no footing here. Where's my boundaries? I don't have boundaries. Boundaries are being pushed out of the way. Boundaries are being severed. And Neptune is like saying, yeah, because we need to have you look at things in new ways. We need to have you look at new roads. And sometimes these new roads aren't going to be exactly what you like or where you want to go, but you got to go and you're going to have to work on this. Because it's going to bring something better. It's not going to bring anything better maybe this year. Might bring some things, but it's going to take you a while. And you're like, fuck, I got to do another 2 years. Yeah, we got to do another 2 years in order for us to rectify the wrongs that have been going on. And some of these wrongs are so deep and wounds are so gross. And you got to get that pus out from the very depths, because that's where we're at. That's the corruptions in government. That's the corruptions in schooling. That's the corruptions in healthcare. Corporations. Being wise on what you're buying. Nestle is a big one. My big thing is Nestle. Nestle is a huge one. And the Nestle products. I try and avoid them as much as I can. Sometimes it's very difficult because of so much their hand is in every fucking thing. But Nestle is a dirty, dirty company. They have been since the 80s when they took away and they went into Africa and they told the women not to breastfeed. Here, use our pablum, use our, here, use this, bottle feed your child. It's more nutritious to women who don't even earn $5 a month. But their product cost $8. So they dilute it. And of course, all these children were dying of malnutrition. Why? Because the women would let their milk dry up and they had the milk to feed the babies. So they had to do a whole re-education there because people were starting to say, hey, you're doing this, we're going to stop buying. Power when people come together. Now people are getting to know what else is going on. BBC just came out with one of their top executives. If it's true, if it's not true, I don't know. Allegations are all coming out. There's a lot of information that's coming forward. So here we are. We are at, for some, a crossroads on the directions of where you want to take and where you want to go. It's big, and the feelings that you've been repressing are going to come up. I've had many sleepless nights, lots of anxiety, things coming forward. Oh my God, I should have done this differently. I could have done this differently. Oh my God, why wasn't I, more aware of what was going on? But then again, would I want to be still with that company? No, I'm glad I'm not. So I'm heading on a new road. Where it's going to lead me, I got to trust in God. But I still got to do the work that I need to do. That means I need to do some muggle work. Update my resume. I'll send my resume out. Find places where I do want to put my energy into. And still stay faithful to my spiritual practice. That's the number one. Staying faithful to my spiritual practice. And part of my spiritual practice is doing readings. And is connecting people to God and helping them upon their life path. That's part of mine. How you take my information is up to you. I see things in one way. I see people doing the other thing. I say to people, walk the fuck away, but they don't want to because it's too hard. Wash your hands of that situation. It's not worth it. I've seen that with divorces too. Wash your hands of it. Claim bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is not going to fucking kill you. But you continuing on this is going to make your life hell. And it's going to cause health problems. But that's your choice. You stay and you get married into this situation. It's not going to get any better. It's going to cause some real crazy issues for you. So here we are. And big choices that we all have to make. So I'm going to send you guys out with so much love because I've already spent, close to 50 minutes, almost another hour with you. Love you so much. Honor yourself with this energy because it is tough. It is tough. I'm not lying. And when I tell you it's going to be tough, it's going to be tough. So may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you and all that you say and all that you be and all that you do. Allow yourself to connect to that beautiful energy. Take a deep breath in. Suspend your breath. And release. Make yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Sit back and just take some notes. What direction do I want to go into? God bless and the goddess bless you. All right. Man. Sometimes I wonder, why did I sign up for this road? But there is a reason for it. God bless. Yeah.